Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Treble. I'm Caesar. Thank you so much for checking this out. I'm actually excited to share with you that this week is singles week. So there wasn't a lot of albums to talk about. There was one album that I feel like it was worth mentioning. And the last few weeks have been a little bit dud, when it comes to music. And not to say there hasn't been great singles or great songs released. There's just some that are not hitting, and we are not getting that momentum of great artists releasing music. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but we had a great start in August. We slowed down a bit towards the end and the beginning of September. But I know September's going to have big hits like Cardi B. We're going to have Zara Larson. We're going to have Doja Cat. And then on October, we're going to have Taylor Swift. So there's a lot of things coming. We're just prepping. Some of these smaller artists are releasing a few things here and there. And even big artists are doing something unique, which I'll talk about in a few segments. But yes, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all the love. Like, subscribe, all the great things. Also, if you are listening to this on any audio platform, Apple Music, Spotify, Prime, anywhere, please follow, like, and I appreciate any comments that you guys do or reviews. I would truly appreciate that, and all the love. I really do appreciate everything and everyone for joining me and, listen to me rant, watch me rant, whatever I like to do with this podcast. But thank you again so much. Let's just get into it. I think, like I said before, this is a singles week. This is just a singles week. There was not a lot of albums. I was actually surprised because I was expecting more albums. Now, the last 3 to 4 weeks, my regular 9 to 5, it's been very hectic when it came to my work and even coming home and being online. It was very difficult because it was just emotionally and physically exhausting that I kind of took a step back and just not really dug deep into bigger discographies. I was really just focusing on the major artists that were releasing music. And that's not something that I usually focus on. I usually like to focus on anyone, any artist, small, big, anyone who's popping up, anyone who's trending. Like, I like to kind of keep myself in that realm of knowing what's going on in the music industry. But lately, because of work, it's been a little bit hard to do that. So I was focusing mainly like on the big artists. And so I haven't really dug deep. And even albums that have been released, even like Sabrina Carpenter's album, I talked about her last week. Honestly, I have not listened to that album since that. I listened to it maybe once or twice after I recorded the video. But even after that, I just kind of, I just stepped away because work was just a little bit more draining. But this week, I try to focus more and go deep more into like smaller artists or even artists that we haven't really listened to from lately. And it was a bit difficult because I wasn't really vibing with what was, being released. So it was a little hard for me to make this playlist. There's some big artists that did release great music, and which we'll get into in a bit. But yeah, there's just something a little bit off. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's just the music being released. On a side note, it's interesting to see TikTok's summer songs, Spotify summer songs, Apple Music summer song. It's just interesting to see that because I feel like we still haven't gotten that summer song. And we're already in September, so I don't think we're going to get it. We just kind of have to pick a summer song from all those songs that have been released. And I feel like it's been those weird summers where there hasn't been a summer feel good song that's been blowing up the charts in a sense. I feel like some artists have released that vibe, have given us some hits that feel like summer, but are not that big hit summer song like we had last year with like Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. So I think that's unique about what's happening with that summer song and music in general. It's just this weird phase, and I know we're gonna get into a much better place once we start going down more in September. So I'm really excited for that, especially. So yeah, let's just get into it. There's not a lot of singles that I truly want to talk about. There's just a few. I want to say there's like five or six. I can't remember my notes. But yeah, let's just get started. So the first song definitely that you want to go listen to, go check it out, is Lady Gaga's The Dead Dance. Let me tell you this. When Lady Gaga came back with Mayhem this past year, that reminded me of the Fame Monster. And I feel like the Fame Monster is what solidified her as a true pop star and started to truly grow that fan base, that dedicated fan base, which was something that, I mean, not to say she didn't have in the Fame, the regular just the Fame, but during that Fame Monster era, that's where I feel like her career catapulted forward and truly developed those dedicated fans. And ever since then, we haven't gotten that Gaga until Mayhem. But even Mayhem wasn't as pop as the Fame Monster. And so with her doing Mayhem and now adding this new song, The Dead Dance, I feel like The Dead Dance would have been a stronger single than any other single other than Abracadabra, of course. A stronger single to be on that album. And what she did with this single, she added it to her album on streaming services, which makes sense because people are going to be listening to this, especially because it's part of Wednesday, the TV show. And that show's very popular. I actually love that show. And so it's something that I feel like she truly collaborated with, and she feels very in place with the Mayhem album. And so this song is just so not traditional. It so gives me that feeling of the Fame Monster, which was the time that I truly became a fan of hers, to be honest. You know, it's pop, it has those haunting elements, it's dark, it has this funky beat. It goes well within the whole track listing of Mayhem. And I think it's just one of her stronger tracks this year. I hope she does push this as an actual single and not just as like a soundtrack single for the show, even though the show is very popular. But I want her to truly give us a second single from Mayhem, because I feel like we really didn't. Abracadabra is still a great song. It's still charting. It's still doing its thing. But other than that, there really hasn't been like a second single that I feel like took off. And I know there's Die With A Smile that's still in like top 10 charts. It's going to be almost a year since that song was released. But it doesn't have the same Gaga feeling, the same Gaga pop, dark pop that she does. And I feel like this song can truly can be the next great single for her this era that she's in. So yeah, it's very eerie, it's pop, it's gothic, it's very dark pop. It's what we love from Lady Gaga. At least not we, I should say me, because honestly, this is where I feel like she does well in this dark pop era, the Fame Monster era, you know, the Mayhem sound. If she would have Mayhem sound a little more pop, I feel like it would have been a little bit more successful, because if geared toward maybe like a dark pop rock type of vibe, not necessarily like a pop sound. If she would have mixed Chromatica with the Fame Monster, like those two sounds together, and made Mayhem, I think it would have been a stronger album for her. Because honestly, there's some tracks there that I just don't enjoy, but there are tracks there that I do enjoy and I still go back to. But it's not one of those albums where I'm like, man, every single song is a hit. And I feel like with this new song, The Dead Dance, kind of like reminded me to go back to listen to this album and truly see, like, did I give it as much love as I should have, or did I give it a second chance? And I think I'm gonna give it a second chance, just because that sound kind of grew on me a little bit. And right now there's no like official pop sound. I feel like everyone's doing their own thing and seeing what's, you know, hitting. And so I think this is just one of the better songs released this week, to be honest. It's, if you don't listen to any other song on this list, just listen to Lady Gaga's and go watch the show. Go watch Wednesday. Wednesday's actually season 2. I enjoyed it a lot more than season 1. But yeah, that's Lady Gaga, The Dead Dance. Go listen to it. Go watch the video. It's just OG traditional, the Fame Monster type of Gaga that I enjoy, and it's just one of those better tracks released this week. All right, now moving on to the second track, would it be from, I don't know if it's called Frequency or Frequency. Honestly, it's this girl group. They were part of the Netflix series Building the Band. Now, honestly, I didn't even hear about this show, but then again, I really don't have Netflix. We just got Netflix, I want to say like 2 weeks ago. We really don't keep up with a lot of shows in Netflix lately. I guess they were part of the show and they made this band. It's 3 girls. It's a girl group. Now, this song is called Top Down. Top Down is this sleek, pop R&B infused track. Like, I love how they just sound together. It's a traditional R&B themes track. You know, it talks about being in control, being confident, being seductive, you know, like those themes and topics that we get in R&B. You know, it's about taking control in a relationship and any like intimate encounters and anything like that. And what I liked about it, it just didn't seem like any other girl group out there right now is kind of doing this type of vibe. I feel like they remind me a little bit of like, I wouldn't say Destiny's Child, but just kind of in that R&B space, because we really haven't had like an R&B girl group lately. Usually I focus on girl groups in the pop world, kind of like Cat's Eye, Blackpink, 21, like, or even in the K-pop scene, right? I listen to those type of girl groups, but I've never truly listened to R&B girl groups. I think the last R&B girl group that I listened to was 3LW, and that was super like what, 2000s. I was still very young listening to them, but I think that's like the last R&B girl group that I listened to. I don't feel like we've had an R&B girl group. And yes, did they mix pop within this sound? Yes, but I feel like their sound, the way they perform, the way that they sing, gives me more of that R&B girl group feel. And I like this sound for them. I hope they stick with this type of sound and truly create an album. And you know what? Now that I'm talking out loud, there is Flow, but Flow is another girl group that music creators have talked about. Flow, I haven't really dug deep into their sound. I know they're in this space as well, but for some reason, I just like, you know, this group. I don't know how to say it, guys. Tell me in the comments. I don't know if it's frequency or just frequency or Quincy. I don't know. But I just know that this song is top tier. It's a great, you know, R&B pop song, because it's just a great start. Because sometimes I feel like the first single can establish an artist faster, or they might progress on their next several singles. But I think with this single, I feel like they have a great hit. A lot of music content creators have said this is one of their favorite songs released in the last couple of days. So I've been listening to that. I've been listening to like the reviews of what they were saying, and so I gave it a chance, and I actually really did enjoy it. I think it's just great to see more girl groups come up, because I feel like we don't have enough to give us that diversity and that the different spectrum in each genre. You know, we really don't have an R&B girl group other than Flow, but I just, like I said, haven't really connected with Flow. I've listened to a few songs, but it's just not something that I really would want to go back and listen to. Not to say they're bad artists or bad singers, their music's just not my vibe, and that's it. But Frequency, or I can't even say the name, but yes, go listen to this girl group. It's called, you know, it's either Frequency or Frequency. It's top down. The song would be downlisted in the playlist below. I just love I love their aura. Something about them, the performance in the video, the way they sing, the way they dance. Something about them is something that I just enjoy. You know, I think they can be great entertainers. And I think nowadays, if you're an artist who's an entertainer, you know, a dancer, a singer, can do both at the same time and truly give us like a show, I think those are the artists that are going to go big in the next few years. So definitely go check out the song. All right, guys. So moving on to the third song, it has to go to Latto and Ice Spice with Gyat. I feel like that's how you say it. It's spelled Gyat. Now, I do know that Ice Spice has a song with a similar name, just with one T less. And I did listen to that song thinking this was like a remix of that. And it wasn't. This is a completely new song. The production is so different than Ice Spice's Gyat. And yeah, it's very unique. I never thought these two artists were going to collab. Now, I wasn't too deep into like the beef that they had, or if I don't know if there was truly a beef. I just know that everyone's saying they reunited and squashed the beef, the beef. And so this song actually is really cool. I just love the whole concept of it too. Of the video. The video is just like this WWE inspired like ring, and you know, just in that type of space. And it's cool to see two hip hop artists do a song together that I actually enjoy. I know Latto, I know Ice Spice. I enjoy some of their work. Not fully like all their discography, or I feel like they can do something a little bit better. but they're pretty big right now. You know, there are artists, they are two artists that they have developed a great fan base. And I think it was smart for them to do a song together. You know, I know Lotto has done collabs with Cardi B, with Megan. And so I feel like adding Ice Spice to this, to her discography, is it's cool because you don't really see female rappers collaborate a lot. And even with this, it kind of sounded like a duet, sort of like they would rap back and forth, or like one has one verse, the other one has another verse. And so I like that style where it's not just a feature. It's not Lotto singing the whole song and Ice Spice just as a feature. So I really do like the structure of the song. I feel like it plays well. You know, the song is just a hip heavy track. You know, they just basically just talk about the love for curvy women, right? And it's just a great hip hop song. Is the theme a little bit hip hop? Like, it's not too deep. It's not too something to take like too serious. No, but it's just fun. You know, it's just fun. You know, it's playful. It's bold. I just love how high energy it is, and how like it can get you into like a pumped up mood or a great mood. And it's just one of those tracks that you would want in a playlist to get you up and going. Honestly, it's just a cool track. It's a great track to release around this time. Like I said, we really haven't had great hip hop music being released. There's been a few like artists here and there that release a couple good songs, but none have stick in the hip hop space, honestly. And I feel like this could truly be a great single for them. I hope it does get the streams it deserves, because like I said, it's just a feel good hip hop track. There's nothing too deep or too in depth. It's just a great hyped up track, and that's what I think is the best times when hip hop shines, is when those type of tracks that are hyped up, get you going, get you moving, have those like confident lyrics. And so I think this is just falls into one of those tracks for sure. So yes, Latto Ice Spice, Giat. Honestly, I don't even know what that means, but I just love the whole vibe of this song. So go check it out. Okay, guys, so let's move on to the Latino space, the Mexican space, and talk about Grupo Firme and Grupo Frontera's song, Modo Difícil. Now, this song is their second official collab. I feel like it's their better song than their previous song released. I just like this. I really do like the emotion. I love the way they sound together. It was something unexpected because I didn't realize they were like kind of like that tight to do another collab. But yeah, it's a cool song. I just love the whole emotion, the way they sound. I love how heartbreaking it is, honestly. I mean, it talks about heartbreak. It talks about having bad luck with relationships. It's just a great track with great lyrics. And I think when those lyrics, you listen to them, you're like, oh shoot, like that's heartbreaking. That's upsetting. Wow. Like, I can't believe this person is going through that, or people go through that. Like, it sucks, right? But I love the emotion. I just think it really does capture the struggles of heartbreak and how you're trying to move forward and just pursue on and go on, right? And move on with the next person. But I just love how they sound. I think vocally, they're a stronger group right now, along with Fuerza Regida, Grupo Frontera, Grupo Firme. I think those are like top música mexicana groups that have established a great fan base and are the best sounding groups out there right now, because they each have their own uniqueness and voices, and the style's similar, but you can tell a little bit of a difference when you listen to enough Mexican music, that there's a specific sound or specific signature with each group that you can tell them apart. I think I listened to enough music throughout the years to be able to do that, because before I wasn't really able to do that. I was just very they all sound the same, it's the same thing. But if you really pay attention to the production, you pay attention to the voice, you can tell them apart. And I think this song is truly one of the better songs that they have released recently. I think they've been on this high and up roller coaster. They've had really great hits, not so much great hits, not so much. Both groups have, I feel like, have had this type of career, right? But I just love the sound. I love how it just fills you with life if you do listen to this music. If you don't listen to this music, or maybe even give it a chance, you should. I feel like you should. Even if you don't understand it, you can feel the emotion coming out of the voice during the song, when expressing the lyrics. Like that, I feel like that's when Música Mexicana truly shines. It's when they do that, right? When the artist is able to express those emotions and you can feel it in the voice, what they're singing about. I think that's what makes this genre very beautiful, because not a lot of artists can do that. And I feel like a lot of Música Mexicana artists can. I think that's their specialty. I think that's why people still gravitate to the slower, a little bit more melancholy songs, because of the fact that you can actually enjoy the artist and feel the artist when they're singing this kind of music. So I think that's why it's such a big genre, especially in the Latin space in in Mexico, because of that expression that they have with their lyrics. So yeah, go check it out. It's called Modo Difícil. Technically it translates to hard mode, which I feel like in this type of setting means more like you're in a difficult space because of a breakup, because of a heartbreak. And so you're in this hard mode, right? Difficult time in your life. And yeah, like I said, I just love the way they express the lyrics. And I think that's why I truly like this song, even though it's a slower song, sadder song, and not so much very positive and upbeat and alive. But I just love the sound. I like Grupo Frontera, I like Grupo Firme. I think they're the ones that have truly pivoted and established themselves in the Latin space, in the Música Regional space lately. And they're the ones kind of like, not, I don't want to say in charge, but they're the top artists, or one of the few top artists right now in the Latin space. So definitely go check it out. It's great. Go listen to it and just vibe it out. Vibe out the music. It's really something beautiful that they do together. All right, guys. So let's move on to the K-pop scene. We finally have Aespa back. Aespa came back with their single Rich Man. Now, I love Aespa. I think Aespa has really developed over the years to establish themselves as great K-pop artists. Now, do I wish that they would continue with their original concept, which was them having an AI version of them and more like a animated version of themselves? So if you see Black Mamba, where they have like the AI version of themselves and then themselves, and it was very creative, very colorful. And then from one comeback to the next, they left that concept and switched to something a little bit more darker, a little bit more girl crush concept, a little bit more I would say female empowerment type of vibe. And that shock kind of threw me off a bit, and I really didn't enjoy their music for a little bit of time. Over the years it has developed. I have grown to like them. I have grown to like their older tracks when that shift was made. And this one's really cool. Rich Man, I think it's just one of their more self-empowerment, self-worth type of song. I think it's just very cool that they're trying to stick into this genre where it's about empowering yourself and being confident. I think those are great messages. I just love the way that they've done with this type of production. I don't think they've done something like this in the past. It's a little bit different. It's not as like hard heavy, but it's still energetic. It's still confident. It's bright. It's bold. It feels unique to me, especially in the last recent years, from what they have released. But yeah, Aespa, Rich Man. If you want to feel confident, go listen to that. Go listen to that track. There's also a whole EP, which I'm going to be honest, I haven't listened to it just yet. I haven't had the time to, but I know that this song is going to be one of the other big hits. I don't think there was a big anticipation for this, or maybe I shouldn't say that. I was out of, like I said earlier in the episode, I was kind of like out of it for a bit because of my 9 to 5, but yeah, like I didn't feel like I got any like teasers or I seen anything about this comeback, honestly. So I don't know how much of big of anticipation the artists were expecting this. I don't think it was a surprise because K-pop doesn't really do drop surprises. They always tend to at least give you about a week or two in advance that an artist is going to release music. But I don't think it was a surprise. But yeah, it's just one of their better tracks. I truly enjoy it. It's something like a little bit different of what's going on in the K-pop scene right now. So I think that's why I appreciate it a little bit more. And I'm excited. I'm excited to actually listen to the full EP. And hopefully they have just evolved and created better music than before. Yeah, so go check them out. Aespa, Rich Man, the only K-pop song on this list. There was a lot more K-pop music that I did like. I didn't love, but I did like. But this is the only K-pop song that I truly say I could love and would be on my maybe on my top 20 of 2025, which I will be doing at the end of this year, and talking about all the great music that I like. But yeah, this could be a great contender song for that list. Okay, guys, so let's move on to our second segment, which are the album releases of this week. Now, to be honest, this is the only album I said was worth talking about, but I still don't feel like it's a big, bold powerhouse album. And this album is actually Justin Bieber's Swag 2. He actually released Swag 1 back in July. Now, I feel like there's this theme that's been happening lately, and I shouldn't say lately. There's this theme of like some artists releasing like an album that are supposed to be sister or brother albums, because I feel like this album is just a continuation of Swag 1. Like, I don't feel like there was any different genre direction. I feel like the themes are overall the same. I don't feel like it's something new, bright and bold. I feel like it's just a continuation of Swag 1. It was a little bit hard to understand because it kind of just felt like these were tracks that were supposed to be added on. You know, it feels more like a deluxe. It doesn't really feel like its own unique album. Of course, they changed the color scheme to now pink, and you know, like the merch and all of that, the color is different, but still it doesn't feel like a full like new album just on the sound, just based on the promotion as well. Like, there was nothing different than what he did with Swag. So I think this album, I feel like he has strong moments in this. I truly do. You know, this album, or like I would say these last two eras, have focused more on like alternative R&B, acoustic, a little bit more soul, a little bit more lo-fi pop. You know, he focused more on that type of sound. He wasn't really focusing on the big pop productions lately. And it's more laid back, it's more chill. Sometimes it does feel a little bit spiritual, but depending on the songs that he has written. I know in one of the tracks in this Swag 2 is he's kind of just reading this like monologue of how God was created, or God created Earth or something like that. Can't recall at the top of my head. But he's just like reading this piece. Like, it wasn't really like a true song, but it just feels more in that space of spiritual Justin Bieber. And like I said, a lot of this album sounds acoustic, and it kind of reminds me of a live album a bit, because depending on the production, the way it's created, the way it sounds more of like a live show than anything. And it's not bad. He sounds great. I think he has great vocals. I always thought he was a great singer, but I feel like lately in the past few years, his reputation has truly shifted with the public. So I feel like people were expecting him to do something big, bold, and like something that can establish his name again. But I don't think he really needs to do that, honestly. But yeah, like I said before, this album's great. I feel like it sticks around the same things of like love, romance, his faith, self-reflection, his confidence, like he's getting his swag back. And so I don't think there's a huge departure from Swag. It kind of reminds me of like what's happening with Sabrina Carpenter right now, where like Short and Sweet and Man's Best Friend, what she said, they're sister albums, so they're supposed to kind of be similar. Themes are supposed to be a little bit similar, so it kind of reminds me of that, as well as like Taylor Swift with Folklore and Evermore, where they're sister albums. You know, they're supposed to sound the same, have the same vibe, but I don't feel like Justin Bieber did it as well as those two. I feel like what happened, it was very soon. You know, those albums, I believe Taylor, there was a 6-month difference between Evermore and Folklore, and Sabrina Carpenter was a whole year, whereas with Justin Bieber it was just a month. So I feel like we really didn't have enough time to really focus in on Swag and give it its true promotional run in order for us to really love it as an album. Like I said, these albums, they're good. He has really high moments. He has some great songs in it, but as a whole, I feel like it does lack just a little bit, but you should still give it a try. I feel like it's a whole new side to Justin Bieber if you're a Justin Bieber fan, and it's a side that we haven't seen from him. My top 3 songs are Safe Space, Bad Honey, and of course Love Song, which is the song that's being promoted on Spotify and Apple Music. Yeah, to go back to the list, Safe Space featuring Little B. It's cool. Like, I love this. It's just this gentle promise, comfort, emotional song with Justin Bieber's safe space. It's more alternative R&B. It's not so much like the pop scene, but I love it. I like this song. It gave me more of the emotional. I love how it sounds, the production. Like I said, it sounds very intimate and gentle. This moody like type of song that I feel like he truly shined on this. And yeah, go listen to that. Listen to that track. Now with Bad Honey, I think Bad Honey is this funky, confident song. It's passionate. It talks about his connection with romance. You know, he's talking about it's impossible to resist his wife, which I hope he is talking about his wife. I don't recall in the lyrics if he says his wife or just talking about someone like any female, but I think it's geared towards his wife, to be honest. It's about being attracted to her and loving her. Like, you know, you're supposed to be this good person, but you can be bad at times, but I'm attracted to that. So it's a pretty, like, kind of like a more like a lovey-dovey type of song, but it doesn't have like those like cute feelings. Like, it's more on a male dominant side, and like I say, it's very smooth, funky. It has this sexy type of sound. It's more infectious with like a groovy feel. Like, it's just a better or more mature Justin Bieber. So that's why I truly do enjoy this song. And of course, Love Song is just one of those better songs. It's his dedication to love, to his wife, to his family, and how will always be there for her. I just love the full R&B feel of this. It does have a little bit of pop elements into it. I can hear that within the mixing. But yeah, I love this. I love this song. I think this song was the greatest song on this album. I think it's the most commercial sounding song. It's just one of those songs that makes you feel good. It makes you feel good if you listen to it. And it kind of reminds me of old Justin Bieber, where he is talking about love. And I feel like this song can be as big as Daisy's. I know Daisy's was a big hit. It was all over TikTok. It had its viral moment, but I think this song can be as good as Daisy's. And I wish they were kind of in the same album, honestly, because like I said, this song sounds more commercial and could be a more commercial success for him. But yeah, I love this album. It's pretty cool. Not his best. I think it's just a different side of Justin Bieber that we haven't seen. And what has happened to me in the last few years, when artists shift, when artists have released their more recent work, at first, it's not my favorite and it's not like their best. But as the years go by, I feel like I grow to love these sounds, to appreciate these sounds, because these artists are actually trying to do something different, and they're trying not to stick in the same elements, same type of production. They're trying to grow as they become older as well, which I think that's perfect. And I love that, because we all go through a life journey and we all go through different, phases in our lives. So I really do enjoy when artists incorporate personal, whatever they're going through, to now into their music, to put that into their music and give us, these albums actually tell stories that actually give us an insight of who they are. And I feel like Justin Bieber has done that with Swag. Honestly, he's been the most vulnerable. He's been the most honest with these two albums. So I just can't wait for him to go back, do another album, and give us more like that pop, old school Justin Bieber. And I don't want to say old school, maybe with a more modern twist of who he is. I do hope we do get more of him performing, singing, dancing, because I did love when he did that in this earlier on in his career. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the love, all the support. Please like, subscribe. If you're listening to this on audio, go leave me a review. I would really appreciate it. I hope you like this. I hope you like these songs. They're all going to be downlisted on a playlist. I have them for Apple Music and for Spotify, so definitely go check them out. Like I said, it was just a singles week, honestly, plus a new Justin Bieber album. I hope we get more new albums and albums that truly make me feel alive. I think that's what's been missing. Having those albums that make you feel alive and have that excitement for those rollouts, right? And so yeah, I hope the rest of September goes amazing. We're gonna have a lot of artists releasing albums. I know there's a lot of singles coming up, and let's just finish this year strong. I feel like when we get great music, it's when we're the happiest, honestly. Thank you for checking this out, listening to this video. I appreciate you, love you. Thank you for all the support. Remember, guys, say it louder. It's only Treble.